Joining us now is CEO CKN News, Chris Kehinde-Nwandu. Good morning, Chris.
So no, yeah, there. Very
Nice.
Excited to dog the Fulani outfit today.
Yo.
Yo.
what?
Now that.
Yeah.
We're not speaking Hausa.
All right,
Okay.
let's get back to business now, Chris. 13 million, over 13 million out-of-school children, and
Yes.
today is marking International Day of Education. Do we really have anything to celebrate?
Well, we'll have something to celebrate. Some of us were educated. If we weren't educated, we wouldn't be on this platform talking now. So that for me is a high level of celebration for us. But we can still do more. My dressing is apt. It wasn't for just for the fun of it. Because if you go to the north and see the level of children out of school,
have the highest
yes,
number
the
there.
highest number. I was in the north last month, last month in Maiduguri. Before then, I was there about 8 months before then. If you see the level of the number of children out of school, they call it the Amajeris and the rest of them, and it's so appalling. And you realize that these are fresh minds, vulnerable to all sorts of things, and that is why we're having a high level of insecurity in that part of the country, because if children are in school, they'll be occupied, and I do mind is the devil's workshop, I would say. So most often than not, these children are used for all sorts of activities that they don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So there is the need for us to be able to make sure that we bring our children back to school. And as you rightly said, the education is one of the fundamental human rights. But as we say in law, I still say student of law, not a lawyer now. As we say in law, those are not actionable. They are not actionable rights. When we mean by actionable, there are some rights you can contest in court, and the rest of them. Education is not one of them. You cannot. No, yes, it's it's within our constitution, but it's not one of those rights you can go to court to compel the government to. That you must be educated, and the rest of them.
But shouldn't we do that?
That is why we find ourselves. But that should be. It's also like saying government should provide housing for you. It's not something you can take to God to. So we should also look at our books. There was a time that one of the greatest assets the Southwest had in the past, education, because during the time of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, he made it compulsory for every child. And I am a beneficiary of that because I remember in 1979, when I entered secondary school, we were in private school until 1980 when the Jalkonde administration came in, and they made secondary education free. So from my class 2, as it were, to 4, to my HSC, even to university at LASU, it was free. My parents paid nothing.
But some state governors are also beneficiaries, or some politicians are beneficiaries of this free education.
Yes.
It might not be in Lagos, but other parts of the
Yes.
country. But we see that a lot of them have become state governors and are not doing anything to ensure that, especially those northern states, the out-of-school children is reduced, despite the fact that funds have been released or have been budgeted for in their various budgets in the states.
Yes, I agree. Because I don't know the percentage now, but I know that constitutionally or across the globe, United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organizations, UNESCO, have a certain percentage of budget that's supposed to be allocated for education.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any state, I stand to be corrected. I don't think there's any state in Nigeria that's able to make that requirement. Okay. Instead of that, they will be putting money in things that are not, even the so-called security vote, they are using it for no security. If you pump that into education, that will go a long way.